Hey guys, Mark here with another fragrance review. This time it is a re-review. Yes, we're going back in time. We're gonna go check out the most reviewed fragrance on YouTube. Yes, the infamous Paco Rabanne's 1 million, the top seller across the world. We're gonna go back in time in 2009, one of my very first reviews on YouTube, when this actually wasn't released in Canada or the United States. So let's go check out the old review and then we're gonna come back to it. Let's go.
Now this is actually very well made. Quality is good, and I'm talking about the juice here. And it's got amazing staying power, great sillage. It does get high marks from me. The opening is really pleasant to me. I love the opening of this one, and that's how I fell in love with this fragrance. So all in all, this one, I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. I'm actually, I'm really impressed by 1 million. Don't see too many people in Canada wearing this.
Alright guys, well, interesting take in 2009, especially since it wasn't available in North America at the time. I was really excited about this fragrance. The thing is, 3 years later today, I'm going to be reviewing again Paco Rabanne's 1 million, and I'm going to let you guys know what I feel about it. Has my taste changed? Is this going to stay in the Perfect 10 Club, or is it going to be the first victim to be kicked out of the club? You're going to have to stay tuned and find out. Let's get into it. The gold bullion of the fragrance game. This fragrance, if you haven't smelt it already, this is a cult favorite. It's the new Le Male of the century. Top seller, loved, hated by many. Considered one of the best club fragrances in the late 2000s. Considered to be a panty dropper to some. No denying 1 million is a top seller across the world and a compliment getter. It is going to get you attention. Good or bad, that is up to you. Let's go to the review. Alright guys, let's tackle presentation, the bottle, and the box for Paco Rabanne's 1 million. Let's take a look at the gold box. As you can see, this is actually embossed, just to let you guys know, the 1 million, the Paco Rabanne right here. You got details in the back and at the bottom of the box, and then you got the Paco Rabanne logo right here. And that's basically your standard box for Paco Rabanne's 1 million. This is the bottle, 3.4 ounce, very shiny. As you can see the detail right here. You take a look down here, there's some information here. If you can tell in the light here, you got my batch code right here. This is where you're going to find it. And you got some detail on the sprayer, actually pretty good. The sprayer is actually kind of like a laser. It missed through. Pretty good sprayer, guys, pretty solid. Let's get to the review of Paco Rabanne's 1 million. Alright guys, time to tackle bottle sizes for Paco Rabanne's 1 million. Comes in multiple bottle sizes. You're looking at 1.7, 3.4, and a mega big bottle, 6.8 ounce of juice. This guy right here is the middle of the road one, the 3.4 ounce. You're looking at retail American, give or take $50 to $90 American to purchase this fragrance. It is a top seller across the world, so it is going to be more on the pricey side just because it just sells. There is also a special edition bottle. I don't know if they still have it available, but the special edition basically covers the whole bottle in gold. So it's going to cover this area right here where you see the juice. That's going to be a gold, so it's going to be a gold bullion for sure. Now, flankers. Not too many people know this, but 1 million does have a flanker. It was a limited release, I believe, and it was only released in certain duty-frees across the world. It was called 1 million Absolutely Gold. Personally, I haven't smelt it, but I hear from people that have smelt it said there was not much change from the original to the Absolutely Gold flanker. They also have an 18 karat gold bottle that is actually refillable. You're going to have to give out a kidney and a liver to get this bottle. It's very expensive, so if you're an absolute lover of this fragrance and you got money to burn, get the 18 karat gold bottle. Now, one point I wanted to tackle with this, talking about purchasing this fragrance, be careful where I purchase this fragrance. Top sellers across the world, usually your top 10 list, like Le Male, 1 million, Acqua di Gio. I'm super careful where I purchase them. I go to the source, to the retailers that I know have real stuff. Go to your Macy's, go to your Nordstroms. Just definitely go to somebody that you trust. These fragrances are highly knocked off. 1 million knocked off like crazy. So spend an extra $10, $20 to get the real stuff from a retailer. and you'll have no doubt in your mind that you have the real stuff. Trust me, you're going to thank me on that one. That extra 10, 20 bucks is nothing, knowing that you have the right stuff. Now, 1 million hit the shelves back in 2008. Awards, it has been peppered in my top 20 list from year to year. I don't think it went a year without being in a top 20 list. Let's take a look at it. In 2009, when I first started on YouTube and made my top 10 fall at number 3. And then the year after that, it made my 2010 top 10 fall again. It dropped down to number 6. In 2010, it also made my top 10 winter that year at number 9, just squeaked in. And then last year in 2011, only made my winter list. That was a top 20 list. It made at number 18. So you can see that it's gradually kind of getting out of my top 20 list, but still one of my favorites. Just sometimes this fragrance is one of those that I try to revisit every year. Sometimes I get sick of it, sometimes I love it, sometimes I'm just, you know. And that's the thing about 1 million. It kind of is a chameleon like that, because it is a top seller. Sometimes you just get sick of it and you got to get away from it and you just leave it and you don't wear it for a bit. So for me, it's slowly kind of getting out of my favor. Now group, this is a woody, spicy, sweet fragrance, definitely on the sweet and the spice. Pet Fumiers, there's a 3-headed monster from Givaudan that made this. Christophe Renaud, Olivier Péchaud, and Michel Girard. Recommended age for 1 million, I would say basically anybody. It depends on your lifestyle, to be honest, and the way you carry yourself. I really think this was really marketed for 30 and under, to be perfectly honest with you. I really think that this would perfectly be for somebody that's under 30 and clubbing and single. It's going to be attached to your hip, and you're going to be like going to the club every night, trying to pick up. This is actually perfect for you. Somebody that doesn't take life too seriously, or your fragrance too seriously, this is it. This is what you need. Now, how many sprays and where? This is also important. I go 1 on the chest and 2 on the neck. I go like in the back here on my pulse points. Try to get away from this area right here. Definitely not going to be spraying right here. Going on your arms is also a good idea, but if you're wearing like a jacket like me, it's not going to make much of a difference. So you just go on your neck. Now for all the high schoolers on there watching this review, I know a lot of you like to dose yourself in a fragrance. This one is highly potent. So again, be careful with the sprayer. If I say 3 sprays, you do just 1 or 2. I know you guys, you're going to reapply, you don't smell it, you're going to reapply. Trust me, 1 or 2 sprays. Me, 3 sprays, because I know when to wear it and how to wear it. So definitely, if you have 1 million, don't go more than 3 sprays and don't reapply. Trust me. Let's take a look at the notes. Top notes, we got grapefruit, mint, blood orange. In the mid, we got rose, cinnamon, spice notes, and blonde leather. And in the base, we got whitewood, amber, patchouli. Now, the major players in this fragrance is your whole top note. In the mid, your cinnamon, your spice, and your leather is your big players. And in the base, we got, I believe, is the patchouli that actually anchors this fragrance. So let's get to smelling this fragrance, and I'm going to let you guys know what it smells like. Alright guys, time to dissect Paco Rabanne's 1 million. I'm going to let you guys know what this fragrance smells like from top to bottom. So let's sniff her out. Yep. Alright. First and foremost, the opening is going to get your attention. It's going to grab you, and it is the reason why this fragrance is a top seller. This fragrance, this introduction is either, it's a love or hate. It's going to grab somebody's attention for good reason or bad reason. It's definitely in your face. Now, a lot of people describe this as a spicy, juicy fruit bubblegum-like feel. I can see where they're coming from, and in my initial review, I didn't actually say it had a bubblegum feel. But the more I smell it, the more I feel like it does have like a bubblegum-like feel. Now, to me, it's not really juicy fruit. It actually has a mix of 2 gums. Imagine popping 2 gums in your mouth. The first one, Big Red. If you don't know what Big Red is, it's cinnamon-based gum, very spicy and warming. You pop that in your mouth, and then you put in a juicy fruit, a grapefruit cooling blast. So you got warming and cooling in your mouth. Some call this part of the fragrance a metallic bubblegum-like feel. Perhaps they're thinking of, you know, the gold and it reminds them of metallic. I know Paco Rabanne likes to play with like metallic notes in his fragrances. To me, I didn't really get that. Now if I dissect this introduction, you get right off the bat a huge blast of blood orange. Picture a deep red citrus. There's some mint and a tad of grapefruit to give you some invigorating hits. Now with that, you can definitely smell the leather coming through and the cinnamon amber mixing into this introduction. So it's not as fresh as you think or as it is described, because you're thinking, you know, citrus, grapefruit, you're thinking about mint. That should be really fresh. It should be like a summer fragrance, right? Wrong. The spice and the cinnamon play a large role in this introduction, and it doesn't give it a chance to be really fresh with the mint, grapefruit, and citrus. So really, it starts out really sweet, spicy, but also has those fresh qualities there. It's loud, but I think it's well balanced in my opinion. Like my man Dan, the reviewer, Dan the man, he always says rock star introduction. Exactly, Dan is right, rock star introduction. It's fresh and bright, but it's also sweet with some spice. The intro is very strong, it's very bold. It's sharp yet warm and spicy, but it has that sweetness and of course that fruit punch like sweetness to it. I think it's not overly sweet. A lot of people say it's really cloying and very overly sweet. You almost have to have a sweet tooth. Yes, you do have to have a sweet tooth to like this fragrance. I do. I like Le Male, so this is no problem for me. Now in the mid, once this dries down on your skin after the initial blast, it gives you much of the same. Some say linear. I'd agree to a point. Linear, like, yes. It gets closer to the skin. I know a lot of reviewers, including myself, say this is beast mode, right? Longevity projection. The projection, it does get closer to your skin. In no way, shape, or form is it a skin scent, but it definitely does get closer to the skin, so it's not a huge scent bubble. Now, after the blast of the top notes, this thing does keep bringing in the sweetness. It almost transformed into more of a sugar cookie with the cinnamon amber combo, and of course that vanilla cinnamon-like feel. There's a small amount of woods in here that anchors this, and there's a good mix of florals in the mid. The leather in this fragrance, this is supposed to be a leather-based fragrance. In the mid, the leather is your major player. Now the leather is almost suede-like, mixed in with the vanilla-like amber. It gets much sweeter here than in the top, to be honest. And it gets much drier here also with the leather and the woods. The woods reminded me of cedar woods. The blood orange tones down quite a bit here. So you're going to lose that blood orange, and the mint and the grapefruit, it is going to die down, and the leather's kind of taking charge, and the cinnamon kind of amps up with that. And it's actually a really smooth mid. If you really do take the time to sniff it out midday, definitely smooth. The leather here is supposed to be the main factor in this fragrance, but the initial introduction really took all the credit for the love of this fragrance. A lot of people love that introduction, and then in the mid they just went blah. Definitely the introduction is the rock star, like Dan said, and in the mid the leather kind of fell apart. The leather's subpar, and it's more smooth suede than a exquisite leather note in a fragrance. You know, like Tuscan leather. Wow, what a leather note. This? No. The sweetness, it reminds me of a typical vanilla that you get in most mainstream fragrances, like the vanilla in Le Male. Yeah. Nothing unique here, but again, well balanced and well put together. There's just the notes in here, some of them, just especially the leather, was subpar. In the base, you get much of the same. The sweetness is still there. It loses a lot of its edge. The woods is there, and the patchouli kind of comes out to play. And that's about it. Let's go to the overview of 1 million. Alright guys, welcome to the overview of Paco Rabanne's 1 million. This fragrance right here is still popular to this day. It's the new Le Male of the century. The main purpose of wearing fragrances for you, if it is something to garner compliments, getting attention, this is your golden ticket. No pun intended. You're going to attach it to your hip, and every night when you go out, you're going to wear this fragrance because you're not taking life too seriously, and you're not taking your fragrances too seriously. All you want is the ladies, and you want to smell good. This is your golden ticket, boys. Now, a lot of people say this can't be a signature scent, and to be quite honest with you, This is probably, the most people that buy this fragrance, it is their signature scent. They wear this all the time. Now it could be a good thing and a bad thing depending. If you're an oversprayer and you don't care about seasons or what you're wearing, if you're only wearing this all the time and you're wearing 5-6 sprays, you're one of those. So most people wear this as their signature scent. It can be done, I think, but I really think that in a work or a school environment, one spray, that's it. Go with the one spray rule, back of the neck, you're good to go. Leave it alone after that. Now, this was actually released first in Europe, and it was a hit right away. I picture it right away. I remember I was in Europe. I remember the hype. I spent a lot of my time in Europe, and mostly in Holland and Germany, and I remember, man, I was engulfed with 1 million when I first, met 1 million. There was old men right up to teenagers wearing this fragrance, like people that are high up, prim and proper, wearing suits all the time, wearing 1 million, wearing it wrong. I remember going to Dubai in the heat of summer, humidity, huge, and there's like an older man, 50 years old, and he's wearing this stuff, happy. I'm sure he sprayed 4 or 5 sprays of this stuff, and that will get you sick of 1 million right away. I know a lot of people went to going to clubs, and the club smells like 1 million, and that's kind of like a deterrent to popular fragrances like 1 million today. It's just too much. And to me, I had that time that I love this fragrance in 2009, 2010, 2011. That's when I kind of got sick of it, like too many Europeans wearing it. I went there and I came back home and I was like, I'm not touching this bottle. And that's what you have to do. And then you revisit it, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is actually quality. It's just worn too much. So it's actually like a victim of its own popularity, of course. Now, yeah, it wasn't available in North America for a while, and I felt like, when I first reviewed this, I felt like a king in Canada. I swear to God, I was getting compliments galore. People wanted to buy this. They couldn't. That made me feel even better. I was like, yes! Now, this fragrance, quoting the Paco Rabanne website, is high in natural ingredients. Now, I went back to the Paco Rabanne website, and they don't have that quote anymore. They wrote, the leather in this is the only synthetic, according to the website, in 2009-2010. When I first reviewed this fragrance, it was on their website. I believe that quote has since been removed, but it is still available on blogs. If you don't believe me, you can go on some other blogs, and they are actually quoting the Paco Rabanne website too. Honestly, as far as, this all natural and the leather's the only synthetic, this fragrance is well blended. I gotta give it that. But it has an artificial feel to it. And most Paco Rabanne fragrances do have that artificial feel to it. Not really natural smelling, in my opinion, to be honest. It's very sweet, and it's very much in your face. This is for someone with a strong personality, or actually kind of needs a fragrance to give them that personality that they are lacking. I really highly recommend this to like teenagers that are kind of shy. They kind of need something to boost them up. Sometimes you kind of need that. You need a new haircut, you need a new shirt, to get yourself a little happier about yourself, give yourself that confidence, and 1 million can do that to the right person and give you some confidence to go up to that girl. So personally, I believe it's a masculine scent. Now, there's a lot of talks that this is unisex or it's feminine. I could see a woman wearing this. Yeah. I believe the spice and woods make it more masculine than feminine. I know people smell the sweetness in this fragrance and they feel it's feminine, or the rose in this fragrance and they feel it's feminine. Personally, I think it's unisex, but bearing more in the men's section of things. This is a great fragrance to purchase with a limited budget. Think Le Male. That's the great thing about it. You are going to get your money's worth. There's so many fragrances out there in the designer game that are just not worth your $70 to $90. Just like the One Sport is, I'm not trying to bag on the One Sport, but just that fragrance just come out. It's priced just like 1 million, just because it's a newcomer, and it does nothing. It's just water. This actually does something. So just take my opinion on it, and this is actually a good bang for your buck. But there's always a but with top sellers. Every jackass and his friend is going to wear this in the club, and wear too much of it, wear it in the wrong time, or wear way too much, and it ruins the experience for most people. That's the down. Now this fragrance put actually Paco Rabanne on the map for this generation right here. Sadly, they have no idea that Rabanne has been around for years and has multiple scents for men and women, dating back in the 70s. So there's a lot of people that think it's just 1 million. They might know about Black Excess, but other than that, they know nothing about the Paco Rabanne house. It's been out since the 70s. Now this fragrance is best worn for someone that has a huge social life. I can't say that enough. Going out to clubs and wants to get noticed. The playboy, the guy out there that really wants to get, you know, attention. This one's going to give it to you. Now, why would you hate this fragrance? Multiple reasons. Feminine. It's sweet. The bubblegum feel. Synthetic. It's cloying. It's linear. It's obnoxious. It's loud. It's childish. And it smells cheap. I can see every single one of these. You know, I really feel like this fragrance, you know, it's not the best built fragrance on the market today. It's not the most serious. I wouldn't wear this at a board meeting. No. Does it smell cheap? It's a designer fragrance. What do you think? Is it obnoxious? Yeah, it's pretty loud. You know, sometimes people wear too much and it's going to be obnoxious. Is it linear? To a point. It's cloying. To some people, is it synthetic? Yeah. Bubblegum. I could see people not liking that bubblegum smell, the sweetness, and feeling that it's feminine. So I see your point. One word to describe this fragrance would have to be bold. I really think this fragrance is bold. Bottles. This reminds me of 212 VIP Men by Herrera. Another Herrera, CH for Men. And The Secret by Antonio Banderas. It's getting a lot of clones lately. A lot of designer fragrances want to be like 1 million. They want to get the sales. So you're going to see a lot more clones coming out in the near future. Best time to wear this fragrance would have to be nighttime, going to the club, going out to play pool, sports bar, going out to eat. I definitely think this is a night out, casual. You can wear it on a date, probably not a first date, but like meeting girls, this is probably your best bet to get your attention, get their attention. Then you could probably get something a little more personal once you're starting to go on the dates. Now, compliment factor, man. Compliment factor, this is through the roof, and you know this. It's high. God, women love this fragrance. I can't deny it, and that's its major tool. That's what it's there for. Get attention, get a woman to come up to you and say, damn, you smell good. And this has done it. It has done it in the past for me. It might do it for you, probably will. So, but again, with bold fragrances like this, you're also going to get people ruffling their nose. My 2 cents on 1 million. Wow, I could speak for days on 1 million. My 2 cents. This is the icebreaker of fragrances. It just gives you a little more confidence. I really think it is the icebreaker. Especially if you're young and a little shy, this might actually kind of give you some confidence. And it's playful, it's daring. 3 years after its launch and my review in 2009, it's even more popular than ever across the world. At the moment, this one is overdone in my area, I'll be honest. I still wear it from time to time, being honest again. I carefully wear it, knowing my surroundings. So I don't wear it all the time, I don't wear it on night outs. It depends on what I feel is best for me. I feel this is a night out fragrance, and it is not my most used at the moment. I have tons of fragrances, but I still wear this. It's still in the rotation. Sometimes I ignore it because I want to, but it is still in the rotation. I feel in the designer game, not many fragrances do what 1 million can do. The longevity and projection areas, this is a top 3 as one of the loudest in the game. Scent wise, it will garner compliments, but also may ruffle some noses. It's not unique anymore since everyone is wearing it, depending where you live, and that really kind of ruins it for most. So if you're in an area that you haven't smelt 1 million that much, you might stand out. And I would say this is a great fragrance for you. If you haven't smelt it anywhere, wear it, and wear it with pride, because you're going to get compliments. People are going to love it, especially if they don't know 1 million. Now, I've never shied away from giving top sellers their due, and 1 million is the same. It is going to get, I think, it's a better bang for your buck for a lot of fragrances out there in the designer game. It is, to sum it up, it's a victim of its own success. That's it. It's a victim of its own success. It's a top seller. It's #1 across the world. People are going to hate it for a lot of reasons, and that's why. Buy, try, or pass. This is a definite buy. It's a good bang for your buck. You're going to get a scent for all day, and you just need a couple sprays. This thing's gonna last you years. So let's get to the rating system and let's rate 1 million. All right, guys, let's rate Paco Rabanne's 1 million. As you can see, for longevity and projection, perfect 10 across the board. This one definitely deserves it. If this isn't a 10, I don't know what is. Projection, it goes from loud to moderate throughout the whole scent life. That's a big deal. This fragrance does shout. Longevity, 9 to 12 plus hours any given day. It can almost last all day sometimes, so definitely a beast. Versatility, this is where it loses some marks. It gets 6 bottles out of 10, not the most versatile on the market today. Overall smell, 9 bottles out of 10. I really think the dry down could have been much more than what it gave me. Seasons, fall, winter, and a spring night. It's a victim of its own success. It's the icebreaker in the fragrance game and can get on your nerves quite quickly, especially if a lot of people are wearing it in your area. Overall, 1 million gets 9 bottles out of 10. The first fragrance to get kicked out of my perfect 10 club.